In today's video, we're gonna check out the lifestyle of St. Augustine Beach. We're also gonna check out this townhome right behind me, which is a 2-bed, 2.5 bath, 1-car garage in the heart of St. Augustine Beach, close to everything. And it's also the most affordable 2-bed, 2.5 bath, 1-car garage in all of Anastasia Island that you're gonna find. But I wanna first talk about what's life like living here in St. Augustine Beach. Okay, so where are we in St. Augustine Beach right now? So if you're familiar with A1A and the intersection of 312, we're about a minute away from that, where we're located at right now. So literally in the heart of Anastasia Island and St. Augustine Beach, we have close access to everything around here. So if you're looking to go catch a show at the amphitheater, that's only gonna be about a 5-minute drive from here. If you wanna go to the beach, it's straight down 312 over to A1A, and that's gonna take you about 2 minutes to get there. You could ride your bike there in probably about 10 minutes. And then if you wanna go downtown St. Augustine, go to one of the great restaurants, or just check out some of the beautiful history and architecture down there, that's only gonna be about a 10-minute drive from here, straight up A1A as you head north here. God forbid, if you ever need to go to the hospital, that's only gonna be about a 5-minute drive from here as well. You just go right over the 312 bridge, so you leave the main island of Anastasia Island, hop right over the 312, and you have Flagler Hospital right on the corner over there, which was just taken over by University of Florida. All right, guys, so we're actually in my old stomping grounds. This is where I grew up as a kid. When my parents got divorced, they moved from Brooklyn down here to St. Augustine, Florida when I was like 7 years old. So I know this area very, very well. And from the townhome we were just at to the beach, the bike ride is probably gonna take you about 10 minutes. So I'm taking the route that you would go. So we just crossed 312. That's my baby in the background. I got my wife filming, so it's a family affair here. Louie Lou. So we're gonna keep it going. Hopefully she doesn't go too crazy, but right now we're turning on West Pope Road. So you actually have some of the most affordable condos over here in Anastasia Island. They're only 2-bedroom condos here, about 700, 800 square feet. But we're on West Pope Road. We're about to cross US 1 here, and we're gonna head over to the beach. So this is gonna take you straight down to the beach here. So this is really where I grew up, on this little block here. Between both, you have A1A beach side and A1A like the express route. All right, guys, so I had to hop out. My baby was crying just a little bit too much, but what I did is I decided, you know what, let's take a stop over, take a look at where I used to live. Got someone living in the apartment now, so I'm not gonna film it, but I lived over here at 45 Schooner Court when I was a kid. This used to be called the Anastasia Shores apartments, and as you can see, it's an apartment complex all around me right here, essentially quadplexes that have now essentially either been turned into a long-term rental or short-term rentals here in the community, going 2 bedrooms, probably about 1,000 square feet with no garages, for about $330,000. So this is where I used to play basketball. This is where I used to run up those numbers, but not anymore. Now I'm terrible at basketball. Whatever happened, I don't know. But either way, from this location here, you're literally steps away from the beach. You could walk there in 5 minutes. And if you're familiar, they have the Embassy Suites over here, which is a 3-story hotel that they just built probably within the last 5 or 10 years. That really has kind of brought St. Augustine Beach a little bit more of a luxury type of feel. And when I was a kid, these were all rentals, but now there's all a big apartment community that you rented from. Anymore, they're all individual, so you can actually buy one of these condos as well too. And just based on location, it's pretty sweet. So definitely different to see what my old buildings used to look like, but times are changing, right? Let's head over to the beach. All right, so we're just passing the entrance of the amphitheater, and as you can see in the distance, you got the St. Augustine Lighthouse as well. And then you also, on the right up here, you'll have the surf station, which is a local surf shop. And then you also have the entrance to Anastasia State Park, which is coming right up here. This is all within a 5 to 10 minute drive of the townhome that I talked about and the lifestyle of St. Augustine Beach. All right, so I'm over here at the St. Johns County Ocean and Fishing Pier, also St. Augustine Beach Pier right down here is what I call it. But they got volleyball courts over here, plenty of parking. Parking does run out during summer for sure. We have peak tourism coming through here. They also have a fishing pier, as I mentioned earlier. And then they have a nice little Rita's over there, get a little snack for the beach. And they also have a spray park over here for the kids. So really family friendly around here. You know, when I come to the beach, I normally just kick my shoes off at like the entrance of the beach. I leave it there and I come back and they're there. No one's stealing anything. It's really a great place to live. I love it. They do also have like a little gazebo over here, and they do music in the park over the summer. They also have, I think, Wednesday morning farmers markets here as well. And that's also replicated over on Saturdays. They do farmers markets at the amphitheater, which is about 5 minutes up the road. Oop, wind from the beach is blowing off my hat. So let's go ahead and take a look at the beach here, or take a look at the pier, and we'll get a good look at everything. Right behind here too is also a bait and tackle shop. So actually to get onto the pier, it does cost like a couple dollars. So if you want to fish off of there, it does cost a little bit of money, but you also have everything you need right there too, which makes it really convenient. They actually just did a whole bunch of dredging out in the ocean and pulled a whole bunch of sand from there over onto the beach here so that they can kind of make it a little bit more hurricane resistant. How well that's working, I have no clue. It seems that every hurricane comes by and just washes the sands away anyway, but it is what it is. So this is September in St. Augustine. That's actually historically a pretty slow month, especially when it comes down to tourism. So not exactly peak tourism season when it comes down, because a lot of people are back in school. But in general, if you're looking to buy a house in the state of Florida, but especially here in St. Augustine and St. Johns County, September, October are our slowest months. So in reality, it's one of the best times to get a deal on a home that you're looking to buy. If you're looking to sell, maybe you want to hold off till spring, maybe you want to hold off till November, December when those snowbirds come in. But really, September, October is going to be a slower point of our year. And it's also locals month, which is also really nice too, because the downtown kind of dies a little bit, right? So in order for us to be able to enjoy our downtown, they open it up and they say, hey, we'll give all the locals discounts on a whole bunch of different things throughout downtown, whether it's the trolley tours or the forts or any small business down there. A lot of them do discounts for September just because it is a little bit slower than normal. The amphitheater. All right, guys, so we're stopping over here at the amphitheater. I wanted you guys to get a quick look at how close you are to everything. And honestly, this is one big part of the lifestyle of living in a small beach town like here is having the availability to like, hey, I want to go out and see a big act. You can do that here at the amphitheater. This has been ranked I think the number 2 amphitheater in the entire United States, right behind Red Rocks. We're actually open year round, so we sell more tickets than Red Rocks, but we all know that Red Rocks is a beautiful, beautiful amphitheater, but this one here seats about 4,000 people. Me and my wife have seen several shows here. This month is actually Sing Out Loud Festival, so they not only have shows here, but they're going to have a big music festival in downtown St. Augustine, where they're going to have Noah Kahan, Gigi Perez, a whole bunch of more indie, younger people type of artists. Not really my scene. A couple years ago, they had Mumford & Sons and Black Keys. That's my scene, but they had that in downtown St. Augustine. But over here, I mean, we've seen OAR. Adam Sandler was just here this past weekend. Willie Nelson pretty much comes here every single year. But it's in Anastasia, or it's at least on the outside of Anastasia State Park. And it's a great little venue. If you're looking to go out, drink, have a nice little cocktail while you go watch some of your favorite musicians or even comedy acts, you can definitely do that here. Actually, now that I mention it, I forgot about that as well. There's 2 other things that you're close to by living in this townhome over here, but living in St. Augustine Beach, you have Anastasia State Park, which is obviously a beautiful state park, and it's one of the most quiet and natural preserved places here in St. Augustine. But then you also have the St. Augustine Lighthouse, which it's a beautiful view. Me and my wife actually got engaged on top of the St. Augustine Lighthouse. That's why it's the brand of living in St. Augustine. But those are some of the best things about living here. And you can get a pass there for like $30, $40 a year. And you can go up and as many times as you'd like. All right, so I wanted to make one last stop over here and show you how close you are to downtown St. Augustine, which St. Augustine was created 460 years ago, just had its 460th birthday. It's got some of the most beautiful architecture. It's been passed from the British to the Spanish to the French. Well, initially Spanish, then probably British or French. Don't quote me, I'm not a history buff. But there's some architecture representing all of those nations that have owned it at one point. Downtown St. Augustine. And while I'm walking around downtown here, let's talk about the real estate market. What's happening, especially on Anastasia Island, the prices are going to be more expensive. Probably median sale price there is going to be around $650,000. whereas the rest of St. Johns County is going to be about $510,000. So you can literally be a mile from downtown St. Augustine, pay way less, and still be within 10-15 minutes to everything that St. Johns County, St. Augustine has to offer. All right guys, so I want to tell you a couple of things that I love about this townhome. Now I've already mentioned like the location. You're close to the beach, close to the amphitheater. The lifestyle of living in St. Augustine, you can 100% find here. But you're also in a townhome, and as we know, space is limited in Florida. So that's one of the things here that you cannot live without this. One car garage. And in Florida, if you don't know, many of us don't use our garage for our cars. We use it for storage because we don't have basements, right? We don't have the space 1,000 square feet under us where we can just throw a whole bunch of stuff. This is what we got. And this is actually a big, big bonus. And in reality, when I look it up, this is the cheapest deal for a 2.5 bath, and the half bath is right here off the garage as well. So that's another thing. You have another bathroom for your guests that come here, and both of the masters upstairs actually have their own full bathroom. So that's a really nice touch as well. The kitchen here is already done. Stainless steel appliances, big sink. So many of these come with such tiny, tiny sinks, and just getting this done is a pain in the butt. But beautiful paint on the cabinets. You also have storage under the closet over here, which is really nice. And then this is a positive and negative, you know, just depends on what you look at. But the back here, nice big back porch. They actually extended it a little bit with additional concrete back here. And it does back to a green space. When my sellers first bought this property, the hedges were about this big, but now they've grown. I mean, they're probably 15 feet in the air now. There's another set of townhomes over there, but it gives you a little bit of privacy, a little bit of separation. So that's an amazing thing. Another good thing is that this home is pretty much move-in ready. My seller went through extreme lengths just to make sure that like anyone comes in here, they don't have much to complain about. So they painted all the baseboard, they cleaned everything in here, they painted all the problem areas that the previous tenants had left. But this is one of the best things about this. And let's take a look here, guys. So I'm in the master, which is actually in the front of the house. And you can see, you got sink here, toilet, and a shower. Now, if you have someone else living with you, you have a second suite. Oh, I also forgot to mention, walk-in closet, right? Now the secondary bedroom is in the back of the house. Good sized room. It's probably 11 by 11, 10 by 10. I don't have my measuring tape on me, or I'd tell you. Doesn't have a walk-in closet. Hit my head on that thing. Doesn't have a walk-in closet, has a double door slider, but it does have its own bathroom. So that's something that you don't typically see. It's got a full bathroom in here. You don't have to worry about it. This is the person who's living here, it's their own bathroom. Then you have a guest bathroom downstairs, and then you have your own bathroom for the master here. And this is a small thing, but washer and dryer on the second floor, and it's included. Going to be offered at $329,900. It's the cheapest townhome in Anastasia Island with a one-car garage. It's the cheapest townhome in this development right here. It gives you everything that you want in terms of the St. Augustine lifestyle. All right, guys, we checked out a little bit of St. Augustine Beach, looked at the amphitheater, we looked at a sweet little townhome we have coming to market. It's got me a little hungry, so I want to go to my favorite spot here in St. Augustine Beach, which is Sporks. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, and that's it. I'm stuffed from Sporks. This is honestly one of my favorite places in St. Augustine Beach, and also for 2 lunches and 2 drinks, under $40 with tip, which you're really not going to find anywhere else here in St. Augustine Beach. So if you're looking to make St. Augustine Beach your lifestyle, reach out to me directly, whether you're looking for the townhome like we just covered, or you're looking for a single family home or a home on the beach. Reach out to me directly, call, text, or email. We're here for you. Until next time.